All right.
Do not want this occupation. Is that right?
Jesus Christ.
What do we do? When our communities are under attack, what do? We rise up and fight back. That's right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alex Dodds. I am proud to be one of the co-founders and the campaign director of Free DC. Can I hear it for Free DC? We are here today to call on Congress to take every action possible to end the occupation of DC by this fascist administration. DC communities, let me speak clearly. Do not want this occupation. Is that right? We do not want to be disappeared in the middle of the night by anonymous masked agents.
If only we were so lucky. If only we were so lucky. Salute to everybody out there, man. Salute to Gals from Below. Salute to Jacob Mullins. What's cracking, man? You liked and shared already? That's what I'm talking about, man. Hit the like button. Share the video. We coming in hot. Craig. We coming in hot, okay? We coming in hot. You heard me? Today, yeah, it's cracking. All right, it's cracking. It's up. Don't mess with me, man. Don't mess with me, man. Today, man. Everybody hit that like button, man. Yeah, these people are insane.
Of our champions who are working on this issue, both in Congress and the people who are actually elected by DC residents, the 700,000 people who live in DC who do not have representation in Congress, but do have elected leadership who understand our priorities and values. We're going to hear from them today. And to start us off, I'm honored to introduce Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley and Congressman Glenn Ivey. Thank you so much.
Which one is Ayanna and which one is Glenn? Somebody help me. Which one is Ayanna and which one is Glenn? I'm a little confused here, man.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, another day. Another day in the midst of a hostile government takeover, hostile administration, one that is anti-freedom and anti-blackness on steroids. Thank you all for being here today. I'm proud to join Free DC in solidarity. Let me by. Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning. Well, another day. Another day in the midst of a hostile government takeover, hostile administration, one that is anti-freedom and anti-blackness on steroids. Thank you all for being here today. I'm proud to join Free DC in solidarity. Let me be clear, everyone who calls DC home deserves representation and freedom.
Wow.
This city is home to scholars, to educators, to families, hardworking people. And for too long, they've been denied statehood and the rights and protections it affords. And in this moment, we see the current occupant of the White House, a man who once called for the lynching of the now exonerated Central Park Five. We see this man sending federal troops into this beautiful majority Black city.
He called for the lynching of the now exonerated Central Park Five. Jesus Christ. She emptying the clip, man. She is emptying the clip on my man. She is emptying the clip. You hear me? She going and she don't care that what she's saying is all lies and fabrication. She doesn't care. Think about that, man. They don't care. They don't care if it's a lie. Doesn't matter. So what? Doesn't care. She doesn't care at all that everything she just said was a lie. And she knows it's a lie.
Deserves representation and freedom. This city is home to scholars, to educators, to families, hardworking people.
Now that's true. That is very true. That is true. And they're all scared to walk down the street at night. That's very true. She's right about that. I'll give her that. And they're scared to walk down the street at night. Yeah, she came with the switchy, right, man? Shout out to Roger. Yeah, she came with the switchy. What is she like? She doesn't care that she's lying. Salute to Pete, man. Pete on the board taking the $5 challenge, man. Shout out to Pete, man. Shout out to you, man. This happened. This happened an hour ago. It's like, yo, like, yeah, milk dud head.
And for too long, they've been denied statehood and the rights and protections it affords. And in this moment, we see the current occupant of the White House, a man who once called for the lynching of the now exonerated Central Park Five. We see this man sending federal troops into this beautiful majority Black city. Our DC residents are experiencing whiplash. One moment you
Beautiful majority Black city. Is that why he's sending the troops in? Because it's beautiful and it's major. The beautiful parts of it have nothing to do with Black people. The monuments, the Lincoln Monument, the Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial, the Capitol, the White House. None of that stuff got anything to do with the Black people. Now, it is a beautiful city in some parts, very beautiful city. The most beautiful neighborhoods, Foxhall, Georgetown, Calorama, ain't no niggas up there. Pete says liberals have jumped the shark, but we already knew that. Shout out, man. Yeah, this is crazy. This was today, an hour ago.
got the National Guard sitting around looking bored, no clear mission, maybe picking up litter. And then on the next spot, you've got tactical teams swooping in to handcuff and kidnap hardworking dads just trying to get to the job site or to get their child to school. When Trump uses these authoritarian tactics in DC, he is signaling and threatening his intent to bring them to communities across our country, including Boston, which I'm proud to represent, and Chicago, the city that raised me.
Oh, wow.
Cities around the country are having to prepare for the unthinkable and unlawful. And the president threatens to send militarized forces into local communities who do not need or want this abuse of power. Let me say that again. No one wants this, Donald. This cruel, lawless administration only cares about power, retaliation, and punishment for those who don't bow down to their right-wing authoritarian agenda. But I'm also here because DC is personal to me. Even before serving as a congresswoman many years ago, I lived and worked in Chocolate City, and now my staff live and work here. My godchildren, 2 young Black boys, live here.
Jesus, she's so racist. Golly, she's racist. She racist. She's racist. Jeez. Wow. She racist, man. Duh. Everything's about black and color and chocolate. And... Jeez. She is racist. Wow. Unbelievable. Looks like it's not a lot of crime going on in DC. Even though, listen, I did see this. I did see something yesterday though about crime in DC. I did see something about crime in DC the other day. Uh, Salute to everyone. Hit the like button, man. We trying to get 10 people to share this stream online, man. Yeah, 10 people to share this stream online, man. Um, that'll be very nice, man. That'll be wonderful, man. We get 10 people to share this stream online. Um, salute to my man, Big Pete, also becoming a member, man. Shout out to Big Pete. Member now. That's what's up. So here's the crime blotter from DC. Crime is still happening though. I mean, it is still going on. It's just not as prolific as it was. Um, this girl, she missing. This woman, she's missing. Protests. Oh, so the National Guard is cleaning up trash on the National Mall. Okay. So that they are using the National Guard to clean up trash. That's good though. I mean, the ones that can't carry guns, and some of you people don't want them in your neighborhood, that's fine. We can have them on the mall cleaning up trash, and you don't have to worry about them being in your neighborhood. That's what's up. A bailout with a stolen vehicle. Oh, that's Maryland. That's Maryland too. A citizen was carjacked in Chinatown. That's right in the heart of DC. Their motorcycle taken and being assaulted by an unknown man. Possible mace was used during the assault. Okay, so we got an assault, a carjacking with mace. A carjacking with mace a few days ago. Okay. So yeah, I mean, there's still some crime going on. There's still some crime going on. It's just not a lot. And it's going to ramp up the second we leave. The second Trump leaves, it's going to go through the roof, man. The second he leaves.
So how has the city safety changed over the years?
From bad to worse. It's just getting worse and worse every day. Every day, the local media sometimes they report the crime for one day and that's it. So it just gone from bad to worse to disastrous.
No one really feels safe. It's impossible to feel safe in a city like this, especially with the leadership we have.
Shout out to Far From Handsome, man. He said, let me stop being stingy. Yeah, man, take the $5 challenge. Stop being stingy, Far From Handsome, man. That's probably why you're not handsome, man. Maybe you take that $5 challenge more often, man. Your face will brighten up.
No, I don't feel safe at all.
Not walking around with that hat. I wouldn't even walk around with that hat on. I ain't even gonna lie. I wouldn't walk around DC with that hat on. I definitely wouldn't have did it the first time he was president. I still wouldn't do it now. You're just inviting trouble. Like you're spitting in the wind. You're pissing into the wind. You're pulling on Superman's cape. I wouldn't do that, man. Shout out to Reader Watcher, man. Salute, man.
In the age I'm in right now, and I got 3 girls, I'm really more concerned about them. Raw fan.
Actually, it wasn't really as bad as it is today. When I was growing up back in the early 2000s, yeah, it was bad.
Who believes him? Who believes him? This is Chicago. This is Chicago. He says it wasn't as bad as it is now in the early 2000s. Who believes him? Who believes him? It wasn't as bad as it is now in the early 2000s, man. Hey, man. This brother might be right, though, man. Actually, this brother might be right. I gotta get this brother a little bit of grace here, man. He might be right, man. Look at this. So they averaged 900 murders a year throughout the 70s, right? And then it took a dip in the 80s. It took a dip in the 80s in the mid 80s. Then it went back up in the early 90s. And then it was bad throughout the 90s. But then it dropped off a cliff. And what's this? Like 2004 in the mid 2000s, and then it blew up in the 2010s. But yeah, homie. But look at it's still 400 or 500 homicides a year. That's still a lot of friggin' homicides, man. I gotta check everything, man. Black Columbo in this bitch. Press 1. We checking everything, man. We ain't taking none of you niggas' word for it, man. Ain't taking none of you niggas' word for it, man.
Bad, but the kids nowadays, they're just wreaking havoc in all of the neighborhoods. We didn't play with guns and we didn't listen to drill rap music like at this very young age. Like these kids are carrying guns like around the ages of 8 years old, and they're killing other 8-year-old kids with guns. It's insane to me.
My opinion, not enough police officers. The police officers' hands are tied. Former state's attorney was terrible, which was a big problem. So now we have I do believe it's getting a little bit under control. We have a new superintendent who's doing an awesome job, and we have a new state's attorney who I think is doing an awesome job. To me, I do believe it's going down slightly. There's serious crimes like murders, but you still see people getting beat up on the street and mobbed and carjackings and petty things like catalytic converters and break-ins and so on.
South Side, I mean, it's been rough. So you see a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, I remember being in the Family Dollar store that got robbed. You know, they kick in the door, they say, everybody get down, people are screaming. And I was only 12 years old, you know? And this kind of stuff, it happens all the time. But a lot of people who don't live in these areas, they don't get to see it.
The police are worried about one thing, a lawsuit. Everything that the police would do their job. they are fear of facing a lawsuit every time there's an arrest made. So they, like, okay, they trying to talk to them, but they're not listening. And some of them do provoke the police to either hit them or shoot them. So there's a lawsuit coming in. So you got these Al Sharptons and Benjamin Crump, and then you got the Roland Martin. You got all these activists who over talk about defund the police, how racist the police are. But here's a news flash. We need these police in our neighborhood. We need the police to protect us and our kids.
It's best to get your opinion from people like myself who live in these areas and not politicians who are safe behind all their security, right? They say anti-cop things, but they have police protection. So I think we got to get serious about this stuff.
I could tell you, since I came on the job as an alderman, I know the forces.
So yeah, man, black people, man, they speaking up, man.
A Chicago man with at least 13 different mugshots finally sits behind bars this morning after years of randomly attacking women on the street.
Yeah, while Governor Pritzker insists that there is no crime problem in the Windy City, this latest assault victim isn't buying it, and she's calling for federal help from the White House. Newsmax crime correspondent Jason Matera has the story.
He stood there and just watched me bleeding on the sidewalk.
It was supposed to be just another.
We did this the other day, man. Poor woman, man. I mean, poor woman, man. She got her shit split, man. Homie split her shit. Like, God, dog. Let's go to St. Louis, man. We want to see St. Louis, man. Homie split her shit, man. That's fucked up, man. We want to see what's going on in the city, the Lou. The Lou. What's going on in the Lou? Wow.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to Studio STL. Well, community takes place in those special places, and it's one that's grown at Left Bank Books. The owner is Chris Kleindienst, who is also one of the TEDx St. Louis speakers taking the stage this weekend. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
I am so excited because I hear you've been in business for 50 years.
Yes, well, the store is actually 56 years old.
56.
I have worked there for 51 of those years.
That is a very long time.
Yes, it is.
And one of the things that you are very prideful about with your business is the fact that you have a cultural space there. Mm-hmm. Explain what that is.
Well, bookstores.
A cultural space. A cultural space. A cultural space. Okay.
Are really kind of community spaces because not just for people coming in and discovering authors and books, but the kind of conversations that start in bookstores. Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's just informal, but other times it is author events that we have or all these reading groups that meet in our store that we have. It gives people an opportunity to commune, literally.
Yeah. And so when we talk about your independent store and just building community, how is your space a safe space at the bookstore?
Well, I think of it as an intentional space that we want everyone to feel welcome there. And we try to have that sort of feeling when you come in. Part of it is how we greet you and work with you to get what you...
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Safe spaces. But you don't want the National Guard to come in and give you a real safe space. Actually make it safe.
One person is dead after an overnight shooting. It happened near Fairground Park in North St. Louis.
Fox 2's Chris Renier is live downtown with information on if police have any suspects in custody this morning. Chris?
Blair and John, the fast answer there is no. At this point, police have not told us anything about a possible suspect or suspects in connection with this case. We are just outside of headquarters here this morning. The investigation into the latest murder in the city of St. Louis still in its early stages at this hour. Take a look at some video that our Roadrunner Brian Howe captured overnight at the scene. Everything taking place on the 5500 block of Palm. That is near the intersection of Grand and Natural Bridge in the Wells Goodfellow neighborhood of North City. Police getting a shooting call there just after 11:30 last night. When officers got there, they found an adult male victim who had been shot. We understand the man was pronounced dead at the scene. Our Brian Howe capturing images of a medical examiner vehicle at the location where that victim was discovered. At this point, no details from police just yet about the victim in terms of a name or an age. We also don't have any details about what may have led up to.
Let me just tell you this, guys. If you're in a neighborhood and the grass is this high, that's a bad neighborhood, man. People don't care. When people don't care, they don't cut their grass. People don't take care of their yards.
The victim in terms of a name or an age. We also don't have any details about what may have led up to the violence. That all part of that ongoing investigation. We do know that it was an outside scene there on Palm as this all unfolded. As you might expect, homicide detectives have been called in to lead the investigation. If you have any information that can help police, you are asked to call St. Louis City Police or Crime Stoppers. For now, live downtown, Chris Brenier, Fox News.
Everybody was shocked. Some of the people I talked to were shaking. I was very shaken up also when I heard. I had to sit down for a while before I even told my wife, because it's impossible.
Continue our coverage of the triple homicide in Mount Washington over the holiday weekend. Police say a gunman shot and killed 3 people at an apartment building before turning the gun on himself. Officers confirmed the gunman was still in critical condition yesterday. Brenda Ordonez joins us live with more.
Trisha, yeah, we're right now outside of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church here on Marlowe Avenue in College Hill. This is where friends, family, and community members have been gathering ever since that incident to pray and offer their support for the lives of these 3 victims who were members of this church.
There are people basically crying their eyes out for them. Those who know them as very polite, well-mannered,
and hardworking. Community leader Araya Amsalu says the victims of a triple homicide in Mount Washington were Ethiopian immigrants whose hard work was finally paying off.
To see somebody that young just getting ready to start their life and it be cut short, it's been just emotional the last 2 days.
Cincinnati police confirmed Bemnit Duresi and sisters Aiden and Fiven Adunga were gunned down Sunday afternoon at an apartment on Beacon Street. On Monday, Fox 19 spoke to neighbors who say they saw the gunman circling the apartment before the crime.
I went over and asked him, was he okay? And he said yes, he was. Well, I mean, he was not unfriendly. My dog went up to him and he played with the dog for a second. And I said, well, you got a friend for life. And he said, no, maybe for a minute. And then he said, you can go now.
Police say the gunman turned the gun on himself after the shootings. As of Monday, he was still in critical condition. Police have not announced a motive or how or even if the victims knew the suspect.
Right now, we just want answers. You know what I mean? Like, we get answers, that's a start.
Jay Raj was friends with Bemnit Duresi.
Said he was real calm, had a real calm demeanor, sweet guy, intelligent.
Duresi graduated in 2023 from UC with a degree in biomedical engineering. A statement from his family read in part, Bemnit was a family man and a God-fearing man who would do anything for his loved ones. Bemnit just recently started a new job in Louisville, Kentucky he was excited for. He came to America for better education and opportunity. TriHealth confirmed the Adunga sisters worked at their hospital. Amsalu says they were pharmacy technicians who loved helping people.
They always see them, being working hard, doing what is needed from them, and also always being polite and respectful.
Amsalu says having no answers as to why this happened is causing concern among their community.
We are all looking at them, these three young people, as our own sons and children. That's the shock we are seeing. So everybody say, how do we protect our children?
Yeah, so community members, they're working on setting up a GoFundMe to help pay for the funeral expenses for all three of these victims. Any community members that would like to help come pay their respects are invited to this church this evening as well as tomorrow evening. We did reach out to Cincinnati police for an update on that suspect and the investigation, and we're still waiting to hear back. For now, in College Hill with photojournalist Damaris Evans, Brenda Ordonez, Fox 19 Now.
All right, we are coming to you now with some breaking news. St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery has been indicted on federal charges. Montgomery is facing a list of accusations ranging from misuse of power to nepotism. Fox 2 investigator Chris Hayes has kept you informed on this story for weeks, and now he's the only one at the courthouse. Chris, what can you...
We can definitively say that you heard it here first because we were the only media inside. And in fact, the sheriff may walk out behind me at any moment as he has been released on bond. And that is zero money he had to put down. Just the bond is his own recognizance. He pleaded not guilty to one federal charge of deprivation of rights under color of law. It's a misdemeanor that comes with a maximum of 12 months in prison. And his attorney talked a little bit about wanting some special circumstances. We got exclusive video of him walking in with his attorney, Justin Gelfand. He's also being represented by Bill Margulis. Gelfand asked that he keep his gun when he is on duty, because under this kind of indictment that normally you would be prohibited from having a weapon. The judge overruled him and said he cannot have his gun. This is an administrative job. And also the judge pointed out that he was concerned that Sheriff Montgomery told pretrial services he is a heavy marijuana user. And the judge warned that itself could be a federal offense to be under the influence of marijuana and possessing a firearm. The sheriff said he has guns at home. He will give them up gladly. He also was silent in court for the most part. He did try to blurt out at one point when the judge said that he also gave some flip-flopping answers to pretrial services, something about saying that he didn't have a bank account and then told him he had a bank account, but it had zero money in it. Also, we should say that this charge of deprivation of rights under color of law involves the situation of Tammy Ross, the jail administrator, who was detained by the sheriff's office when the sheriff could not get access to a rape victim that he wanted to interview. Police at the time made it clear this was a police investigation and that they needed to do the investigation, but the sheriff wanted it inside and Tammy Ross was detained. This has been something we've reported on over the last several months, and this is what the federal charge is about today. This hearing started at 10:30. It was a surprise to everyone. It was an indictment under seal until the judge read off the charge in federal court. Again, we were there, and this has nothing to do with the Missouri Attorney General's case, their attempt to remove the sheriff from office in a court proceeding called a quo warranto. That, in fact, is in depositions. Today, at the Carnahan Courthouse, there are two people that are being deposed in that case. So he's feeling heat from that. Finally, I want to point out that the judge pointed out this was very unusual and that there is a warning with this charge that says he must not tamper with witnesses. And that may be as simple as just not interacting with somebody who could be a witness in the case. The judge said, I'm not telling you that you have to quit this job, but you need to think this over and think about who you are interacting with in your job. Talk to your attorney about it and make sure it doesn't happen because it could immediately get you into custody. Again, big news here today. We have it exclusively with Sheriff Alfred Montgomery being charged by the federal government for one count of deprivation of rights under color of law. He'll be walking out of here soon. We'll try to ask him about it. Callista?
To you now with some breaking news. St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery has been indicted on federal charges. Montgomery is facing a list of accusations ranging from misuse of power to nepotism. Fox 2 investigator Chris Hayes has kept you informed on this story for weeks, and now he's the only one at the courthouse. Chris, what can you...
We can definitively say that you heard it here first because we were the only media inside. And in fact, the sheriff may walk out behind me at any moment as he has been released on bond. And that is zero money he had to put down. Just the bond is his own recognizance. He pleaded not guilty to one federal charge of deprivation of rights under color of law. It's a misdemeanor that comes with a maximum of 12 months in prison. And his attorney talked a little bit about wanting some special circumstances. We got exclusive video of him walking in with his attorney, Justin Gelfand. He's also being represented by Bill Margulis. Gelfand asked that he keep his gun when he is on duty, because under this kind of indictment that normally you would be prohibited from having a weapon. The judge overruled him and said he cannot have his gun. This is an administrative job. And also the judge pointed out that he was concerned that Sheriff Montgomery told pretrial services he is a heavy marijuana user. And the judge warned that itself could be a federal offense to be under the influence of marijuana and possessing a firearm. The sheriff said he has guns at home. He will give them up gladly. He also was silent in court for the most part. He did try to blurt out at one point when the judge said that he also gave some flip-flopping answers to pretrial services, something about saying that he didn't have a bank account and then told him he had a bank account, but it had zero money in it. Also, we should say that this charge of deprivation of rights under color of law involves the situation of Tammy Ross, the jail administrator, who was detained by the sheriff's office when the sheriff could not get access to a rape victim that he wanted to interview. Police at the time made it clear this was a police investigation and that they needed to do the investigation, but the sheriff wanted it inside and Tammy Ross was detained. This has been something we've reported on over the last several months, and this is what the federal charge is about today. This hearing started at 10:30. It was a surprise to everyone. It was an indictment under seal until the judge read off the charge in federal court. Again, we were there, and this has nothing to do with the Missouri Attorney General's case, their attempt to remove the sheriff from office in a court proceeding called a quo warranto. That, in fact, is in depositions. Today, at the Carnahan Courthouse, there are two people that are being deposed in that case. So he's feeling heat from that. Finally, I want to point out that the judge pointed out this was very unusual and that there is a warning with this charge that says he must not tamper with witnesses. And that may be as simple as just not interacting with somebody who could be a witness in the case. The judge said, I'm not telling you that you have to quit this job, but you need to think this over and think about who you are interacting with in your job. Talk to your attorney about it and make sure it doesn't happen because it could immediately get you into custody. Again, big news here today. We have it exclusively with Sheriff Alfred Montgomery being charged by the federal government for one count of deprivation of rights under color of law. He'll be walking out of here soon. We'll try to ask him about it.
Welcome to Uncommon Knowledge. I'm Peter Robinson. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/UNC Knowledge. That's twitter.com/UNC Knowledge. Dr. Thomas Sowell has taught economics, intellectual history, and social policy at such institutions as Cornell, UCLA, and Amherst. The author of more than a dozen books, Dr. Sowell is now a senior fellow at the Hoover Institution. His newest work, Intellectuals and Society. Tom, we'll begin with a quotation. Then candidate Barack Obama in July 2008, quote, "It's like these guys, Republicans, take pride in being ignorant. They should go talk to some experts and actually make a difference," close quote.
Well, talking to experts does make a difference. Many of the great disasters of our time have been committed by experts. You may remember FDR's brain trust, which according to later studies prolonged the depression by several years. The whiz kids in the Pentagon under McNamara, who managed to mess up the Vietnam War. You can run through an impressive list of things, of disasters brought about by people with very high IQs.
All right. Segment 1, the species of the intellectual. When you refer to intellectuals in society, whom do you mean?
I mean people whose end products are ideas. There are other people with great intelligence whose end products are things like the Salk vaccine.
A research scientist is not necessarily an intellectual.
That's right.
An engineer isn't necessarily an intellectual.
That's right. Because the engineer is judged by the end product, which is not simply ideas. If he builds a building that collapses, it doesn't matter how brilliant his idea was, he's ruined. Conversely, if an intellectual who's brilliant has an idea for rearranging society, and that ends in disaster, he pays no price at all.
I see. Let me quote intellectuals in society, quote, "The fatal misstep of intellectuals is assuming that superior ability within a particular realm can be generalized to superior wisdom or morality overall. Chess grandmasters, musical prodigies, and others who are as remarkable within their respective specialties as intellectuals within theirs seldom make that mistake." Explain that. Why would it? Well, let's take an example. Noam Chomsky, whom you write about in Intellectuals in Society, whose work in linguistics, in the first place, I can't understand it, but as best I can tell, everyone who understands his technical work within the field, within his discipline of linguistics, considers him one of the great figures of the 20th century. And his work in politics?
Absurdity. The same could be said of Bertrand Russell and his landmark works on mathematics and other people in other fields, but they step outside their field. And when you step outside your level of specialty, sometimes that's like stepping off a cliff.
And why is it that intellectuals, that is to say, people whose end product is ideas, should succumb to that temptation more than, to use your example, a chess grandmaster?
Because a chess grandmaster can be world famous for doing absolutely nothing more than winning chess tournaments and making displays, as many of them do, of playing 5 chess games simultaneously while blindfolded.
So Bobby Fischer had no need to opine on the politics of the day because he was getting rich and famous and making a brilliant career for himself within his narrow profession.
That's right. That's right.
But intellectuals, what? They languish in obscurity, no matter how smart.
Well, the whole question of when is someone well known or not came up during the visit of Jim Flynn from New Zealand here a few years ago. He's one of the world's authorities on IQ tests. People, in India know about Jim Flynn. People in England, he made a world tour. But I doubt if the people in the next block from where he lives know who he is.
I see. All right. It is far easier to concentrate, again, I'm quoting from Intellectuals in Society, it is far easier to concentrate power than to concentrate knowledge.
Yes.
What bearing has that got on the influence that intellectuals have over society as a whole?
Because they believe that since knowledge is concentrated in people like themselves, what needs to be done is, in the quote from President Obama, is to put more power in the hands of the experts.
So the intellectual temptation is to say, look, we already know everything.
That's right.
If only we also had
the power,
all the power,
yes,
everything would be just fine.
Yes.
And what's wrong with that view? Why isn't that a sensible view?
One, they don't know everything. They don't know 1/10 of everything. In fact, I've argued that they probably don't know 1% of the consequential knowledge in a society.
Consequential knowledge is a concept that runs through this book. Explain that concept.
Knowledge whose presence or absence has consequences, serious consequences. I mean, I was once in a plane that was coming down for a landing in the Ithaca airport, and suddenly the pilot gunned the motor and went up again because someone in the control tower had reminded him that he hadn't lowered his landing gear. So that was consequential knowledge.
Right?
Yes. I was just delighted that person had his eyes open and his mind on his work.
So the notion here is that the kind of knowledge, the kind of consequential knowledge required to prove effective in governing a nation such as the United States with the biggest economy in the world, 300 million people, you can put together quite a large group of professors, and they're still not going to possess the knowledge that would enable them to run General Motors, for example, or to run the nation's healthcare system, for example.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, one of the things that has happened all around the world in the 20th century was that all sorts of countries have tried central planning. Now, the guys who run the central planning, they usually have advanced degrees from prestigious institutions. They have mountains of statistics sitting there, and they have all the experts of the country at their beck and call. And yet, when you take the power out of their hands and return it to the market, then all the hundreds of millions of people who don't have any of those things usually end up with a higher rate of growth and a more rapid decline in poverty.
Because consequential knowledge by its nature tends to be diffused, widely diffused.
Yes, yes.
Right. Segment 2, intellectuals and economics. We've already touched on this. 2 quotations. Number 1, Paul Krugman, quote, "Rising income inequality isn't new, but what happened under Bush was something entirely unprecedented. For the first time in our history, so much growth was being siphoned off to a small, wealthy minority that most Americans were failing to gain ground even during a time of economic growth," close quote. Second quotation, Dr. Thomas Sowell in Intellectuals and Society. Quote, "The statistics that the intelligentsia keeps citing are much more consistent with their vision of America than the statistics they keep ignoring," close quote.
That's a tough one to encapsulate, but the basic confusion is between statistical categories and flesh and blood people. It's true that if you look at the percentage of the income that went to the top 20% and some year A, and then later on, a decade later, you'll find that that percentage has gone up. And you say, well, that shows a disparity between the people. But
the rich are getting richer.
Rich are getting richer.
Right.
But when you follow statistics generated by the Internal Revenue Service, which can follow particular individuals over time, you find that people who are in the bottom 20% of taxpayers in the first year, their income is nearly doubled by this later period, while the income of the people who are initially at the top is increased by less. If you get down to the very top, it's actually going down. So that people are simply moving between these brackets from year to year. And the number of people who are in the bottom 20%, let's say in 1975, who are still there in 1991 is 5% of them.
Really?
29% of them who have already gotten all the way to the top. Absolute majority are in the top half. And so you're comparing what happens to these abstract categories rather than what's happening to actual flesh and blood people.
So there's an enormous amount of churn and dynamism within the American.
And almost everybody's own personal life. I mean, look, what were you making when you were 20 years old compared to what you were making when you were 40?
Negative. I was spending my parents' money when I was 20 years old, right? All right? Okay. So why would the intellectuals, what you've just made is an intellectually rigorous case. Why would an intellectual, as you use the term, be loath to look at that intellectually rigorous argument, be loath to examine the data the way you did?
Well, he's happy with the data that he got. Well, why would he examine? Why would he go further? He looks at the numbers. The numbers say what he thinks it should say. Hey, that's it. Right. QED, and he moves on to the next great crusade.
Intellectuals in Society, once again. The very phrase income distribution is tendentious. Wealth can be created only after capital and labor have reconciled their competing claims and agreed to terms on which they can operate together in the production of wealth. Close quote. Income distribution, the very phrase is tendentious. How come?
Income is not distributed. Newspapers are distributed. Social Security checks are distributed. And one time, milk was distributed. Income is not distributed. People earn it directly from those to whom they provide some good or service. And the argument made by many people, you see, is that it's a question of capital and labor have conflicting interest in dividing up the income.
Right.
No. There is no income to divide up before they first reconcile their conflicting interests and decide on what terms they're going to produce that income. There is no there's no manna from heaven for them to fight over.
You make the point, what I'm coming to is the economic crisis that we went through 18 months ago. but we'll start with the Great Depression, where all discussions of economic crises should start, probably. And you make the point that there are two large features of the Great Depression. One was the stock market crash, and the other was the enormous government intervention, which began under Herbert Hoover and continued and expanded under FDR, but began quickly, in other words.
Yes.
And so you said, so you have two large facts here. It's a very good question, which actually caused or prolonged the Great Depression, and it's a question that very few intellectuals actually examine.
Well, one way of examining it would be to just look at the time period. The stock market crash occurred in October 1929. Now, there's data on unemployment month by month. 2 months after the stock market crash, unemployment peaked at 9%. It then began to decline irregularly till about 6.3% by June of 1930.
Indicating the economy was attempting to recover
Yes,
on its
yes.
own. Right.
In June 1930, the government stepped in with its first massive intervention with a Smoot-Hawley tariff, passed despite a public appeal by more than 1,000 economists from the leading universities saying, don't do it. They did it anyway. It shows how much influence economists have. Within 6 months after that, unemployment hit double digits for the first time, and it never came down for the remainder of the decade, even for 1 month. And so the stock market crash brought you up to 9%, and that was starting to fizzle out. The government steps in to help, and that hits double digits, and it eventually got up to a peak of 25%, and it didn't fizzle out until the end of the decade.
All right. Listen to a list, and then I'll ask you a question. Chairman of the Fed, Benjamin Bernanke, BA at Harvard, PhD at MIT, Professor of Economics at Princeton, Director of the National Economic Council, Lawrence Summers, undergraduate degree MIT, doctor at Harvard, youngest tenured professor of economics and Harvard history, eventually president of Harvard, Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, AB Dartmouth, MA Johns Hopkins. He's the underperformer in the group. How did this group of intellectuals acquit themselves in handling the nation's economic crisis in 2008?
Well, first of all, they didn't handle it. The politicians handled it.
Ah.
And so even if you were to say that these guys really could have done a great job had they had the unbridled power and so forth, they don't have the unbridled power. One of the problems with experts is that experts are hired by other people. And so you never know what the expert would have done. In fact, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal some time back that what the policies that are being followed in Washington are the direct opposite of the policies that Summers advocated when he published before he got to Washington.
Right, right.
So we should never assume that experts are just people they're supplying information to politicians who are trying to do good.
So surely, though, the intellectuals had the notion that the government should step in is a hangover from the understanding of what took place during the New Deal, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so in other words, the intellectuals, the politicians are acting within a world of options that intellectuals have created over the decades.
Yes.
Right. And are you impressed by that, the intellectual framework?
No.
No. All right. All right. Segment 3, intellectuals and vision. Intellectuals in society. The vision around which most contemporary intellectuals tend to coalesce has features that distinguish it from other visions prevalent in other segments of contemporary society or among elites or masses in earlier times, close quote. What is the vision to which contemporary intellectuals subscribe?
That intellectuals should influence, if not control, the kinds of decisions that are made in society, and more especially that they should promote the transfer of decisions from the masses to those who have, quote, more intellect. And given how I conceive of knowledge being its distribution, that would mean transferring decisions from where there's 99% of the knowledge to where there's 1% of the knowledge. And against that background, it's not at all surprising that things like central planning simply don't produce as good results as allowing all the millions of people to react in the marketplace.
All right. Let me ask you a question that came in from Twitter. Travis814. All these questions are limited to 140 characters, so get ready. It's coming at you, but it'll go fast. Why does the liberal progressive mindset have such a stranglehold within the intellectual academic world? Why should the vision that you just described be so prevalent among intellectuals?
Well, among the many reasons, Most academic intellectuals have no experience, no serious experience outside the academy. I remember I was once an economist for AT&T when it was the world's largest corporation. And when I returned to the academic world, they welcomed me as the prodigal son. You see, had returned from the evils of corporate America to the true nirvana of academia. And not only do they have no experience, they have every incentive to believe that they are brighter than other people and no more than other people, because they've been told that all their lives. I mean, you become a top intellectual because you've passed through all these successive filters. You've gotten into the best colleges. You've gotten into the best graduate schools.
Or even from second grade on, the teachers are responding to you as a kid who passes tests especially well.
Yes.
Right.
And so you have all of that in your background.
You write in Intellectuals in Society, if you happen to believe in free markets, judicial restraint, traditional values, and other features of what you call the tragic vision, there's no personal exaltation arising from those beliefs. But to be for social justice and saving the environment puts you on a higher moral plane.
Yes.
So the question here is, can it really be that simple that intellectuals across the American landscape tend to embrace the vision that you've described sheerly out of self-flattery and self-pleading?
Yes.
It is.
Don't forget, human beings have an enormous power of rationalization. Think of all the absurd things that have been believed throughout all of history. And I guess the one common denominator is that those absurd things typically were very flattering to those who believed them. They had the one true faith. They were the vanguard of the proletariat. You know, you just run through the whole list of the things.
By the way, I've been reading some Marx.
Mm-hmm.
I can't understand how anyone ever took that seriously. I mean, ever took it seriously.
Well, what are you reading?
Sentence by sentence, it's, I began with the Communist Manifesto that he and Engels wrote.
It's a magnificent, if you want a model for propaganda, it is the masterpiece.
But there's absolutely no contact with actual economic reality.
No, there's no need for that, as many people are showing. You can become president of the United States with no contact with economic reality.
All right, two quotations. Intellectuals in Society, quote, "The intelligentsia often divide people into those who are for change and those who are for the status quo."
Yes.
Candidate Barack Obama, "We are the change we have been waiting for."
Yes.
Tom?
People who say things like this act as if they're saying something new. This is what was being said back in the 1790s. And ever since then, you know, that there's nothing older than the idea that this is new. And
Thomas Paine, we have it in our power to make the world over again.
There you are.
Right.
But in point of fact, there's again, this is one of those totally unquestioned and unsubstantiated statements.
Sorry, guys.
John Dewey was saying,
Sorry, guys. I apologize, man. Had a family emergency, man. I apologize, man. Had a family emergency. Sorry, guys. I'm back in full effect, man. I'm sorry about that, man. Salute to everybody out there watching, man. Salute to everybody out there watching, man. Let's get back into it.
Cincinnati's Ethiopian community is in mourning and searching for answers after 3 people were shot and killed in Mount Washington.
An elder says that all 3 belong to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church in College Hill. Local 12's Chris Arnold shows how their community.
And this is a white shooter. The kid who killed these kids, it was white.
Is dealing with the tragedy.
His name is Be'emnet Darrasa. The young lady is Eden Adunya and Feven Adunya.
Araya Amsalu says all 3 were well known in the Ethiopian community.
Be'emnet, who has been here longest, he has been here about 5 years, I think 6 years. He came in to go to college, so his aunt lives here, and his mom comes frequently. The young ladies came in to go to school, and they are closer with the young people.
The Ardunyas worked at Good Samaritan Hospital.
Well-mannered, well-disciplined, very hardworking, nice ladies.
Which is why he and others were not only shocked, but devastated to see what happened on Sunday. All three were found shot inside a Mount Washington home. 2 died at the scene, and one of the women died at the hospital.
I mean, 3 at a time. People are looking at this and saying 3. Yeah, 1 is a lot.
Well, Salu tells me that the Ethiopian community here is small, with only about 3,000 people.
Oh, God. Lucky them. Lucky them. Salute the guys from below. He says, real gumbo from the Black Columbo. Yeah. Salute the guys from below. This is crazy. So they got a small Ethiopian population. They're going to try to make this race related. They're going to try to make this a racial thing, because the Mount Washington shooter is a white boy. He's a white guy. So they're going to make this racial, a hate crime. They're going to make this a hate crime. Here it is right here.
Developing this evening, we've now learned the man who police say shot and killed 3 people in Mount Washington this past weekend has also now died. So 2 of the victims were sisters.
Okay.
WLWT News 5's anchor Chris Jacobs here now with the update. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hey, Cherie. So that suspected gunman was identified by police as 26-year-old Samuel Erickson. They say he killed himself after he shot 3 others. Erickson was initially hospitalized in critical condition. Now, we're also learning from police that Erickson knew at least one of the victims and had a romantic interest in one of them. Police say they're not investigating this as a hate crime. So this happened on Sunday afternoon on Beacon Street in Mount Washington. CPD says Erickson shot and killed Bimnet Doris Eden Adugna and Fiva Adugna. When police got there, Bimnet and one of the women were already dead. The other woman, along with Erickson, were taken to the hospital where they both later died. We're told Fivan and Eden were sisters who both worked as pharmacy technicians for Good Sam Hospital. TriHealth.
Yo, I swear to God, the CVS, when I used to live in D.C., the CVS I went to, 95% of the people in the pharmacy were Ethiopian or whatever, looked like they're Ethiopian or Eritrean, Horn Africans. And that's almost every CVS in D.C. The vast majority of the people at the pharmacy are Horn Africans. It's the darndest thing.
Telling WLWT they were cherished members of the hospital team, and posts on social media say Bennett worked at a store on Montana Avenue. So what led up to this shooting is still unclear. We will keep you updated as we learn more information. Chris Jacobs, WLWT News 5.
Wow.
Indicted. A new charge for the woman accused of shooting and killing prominent Memphis pastor Ricky Floyd earlier this year. Good evening and thank you for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Stephanie Skurlock. Samantha Marion now faces a second-degree murder charge following her indictment last week. WREG's April Thompson has reaction to the charge and what's next in the case.
Samantha Marion now facing a second-degree murder charge. This indictment showing a grand jury found Marion unlawfully and knowingly killed prominent Memphis pastor Ricky Floyd back in March outside Mama's Bar and Kitchen, where the two apparently got into an argument over religion. Pastor Earl Fisher was a friend of Pastor Floyd's.
So if this is a step in the direction of figuring out what exactly happened and what level of accountability and responsibility certain parties need to adhere to, then I would have to be here for that in the name of Ricky D. Floyd and all of those who love him.
WREG reached out to the Special District Attorney's Office in Nashville, now handling the case. They say Marion will next have another bond hearing on these new charges. Pastor Floyd was known for his community involvement and longtime work, especially in Frazier. But Marion's attorneys say something else happened that night. They sat down with WREG to show us a video recorded by Samantha Marion the night of the shooting. It shows Pastor Floyd approaching her as she tells him to back off.
I'm backing back 3 times now. When I do that, please back the up.
Yeah, man, she gonna get off. We covered this when this happened. He looked like he about to kick her ass. So yeah, she gonna get off. That's a big man. She's a little teeny woman. This is constitutional carry state. It's not like it's, she needed a permit to have the gun. All she needed was a heartbeat to have the gun. It's constitutional carry. She gets to have the gun. They were already arguing. They already had an argument. He stops the key. He was leaving. He stopped the car, gets out, and starts coming towards her.
Shows Pastor Floyd approaching her as she tells him to back off.
I'm backing back 3 times now.
Even the pastor can't keep his pants up. Press 1. Even the pastor pants sat falling off his ass. God man. Even the pastor pants falling off his ass. Shout out to Marble 5. That's crazy. It said Tennessee just passed a new law that all public and charter schools must have some gun safety training every year from K through 12. Them Republicans are morons. Republicans are morons. You don't have constitutional carry in a state like this, man. Republicans, you don't put constitutional carry in this type of state. And if you do, you don't put it in these type of cities. You give the cities different laws than the states. Press 1. Because these people argue all the time. The thing about it is these people are constantly conflicting, constantly arguing, constantly in each other's faces, constantly fighting. The women are always fighting. It doesn't matter where they are. There's no place they won't fight. And then you give them constitutional carry. It is a recipe for disaster.
It shows Pastor Floyd approaching her as she tells him to back off.
I'm backing back 3 times now. When I do that, please back the up. Back the up.
Samantha Marion's attorneys say the video shows aggression on the part of Pastor Ricky Floyd, and they say Samantha Marion didn't know what he was going to do.
Whatever triggered him, he was upset with Mrs. Marion. He fought through 2 individuals to get to her, and watching him storm from the vehicle and approach her, it was clear that his intentions was definitely not to give her a hug and say, hey, let's work this out. But he had aggression in his heart and in his mind.
WREG reached out to the family of Pastor Floyd, but they declined to comment. Pastor Fisher hopes everyone moves away from the spin that Marion and Floyd knew each other. Her attorneys say they did not, and move toward the facts.
And giving us the concrete nature of who should be held accountable for what happened and to what degree they should be held accountable.
Reporting for your news leader in Memphis, April Thompson, WREG News Channel.
This is the last images of your pastor. That's crazy. If you go to that church, this is the last images of your pastor hopping out of a car and running up on some woman that he don't know from a can of paint at a bar. Jeez. At a bar. That is a terrible last look for that pastor, man. Yikes.
A breaking news update from celebration to chaos. We're getting new insight into the moments surrounding a shooting in downtown Memphis last night. This comes after thousands packed to the area to enjoy 901 Day festivities a few hours before that. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Skurlock. Greg Hurst is off tonight. A 17-year-old boy is now recovering after being shot. The incident happened after several fights broke out following the concerts on Bill Street. The shooting also appears to have happened slightly off the iconic street. That's where we find WREG's Shay Arthur tonight. And Shay, what have you learned about what happened? Hey, Stephanie, really just a scary and super unfortunate situation here. We talked to some people who were out here. They described the scene for us. According to those witnesses, as well as police, some of those bullets came through the backside of the building here at that very popular BB King's restaurant, striking a ceiling. And then
They shot a BB King's restaurant. Jeez.
a wall inside, but really, Stephanie, those bullets were going everywhere. We're taking a look down now. A car that was parked here in the alley area, that was hit as well. Tonight, as police search for the shooter, a man whose car was damaged from that gunfire, well, he has a message. Before round after round went off Monday night, sending people scattering, searching for a safe spot. Those we talked to describe groups of teenagers fighting.
Oh, they thumping that. They thumping that.
Christian Oliver said the commotion affected the Beale Street restaurant where he works.
It was kind of hectic. Like, it was a couple of fights early. I mean, I think we had closed down early because there was so much going on Beale Street.
Leaving, Christian walked to his car, parked in the alley behind BB King's Blues Club. He said he saw large groups of teenagers walking in and off Beale and the nearby alley.
Yeah, I seen another group of young adults coming up the alley, and they was arguing. And I had rolled my window down like, y'all ain't finna fight, is it? And they was like, yeah, I'm finna beat this. I'm finna beat them.
2 minutes later, he heard gunshots.
And when I heard the gunshots, I jumped out of my car and hit the ground.
Thankfully, he wasn't hit. But his car, that's a different story. It now has a broken window, a bullet hole in the side with a bullet lodged in the seat. Christian, a lifelong Memphian, acknowledged the day of unity, filled with family events. Sad to see it end with a 17-year-old boy shot.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing. It seemed like you can't even get out and do anything and have fun without these young adults, young teenagers getting out acting a fool.
Memphis Mayor Paul Young.
It essentially points out the work that we need to continue doing. It was an amazing day, a lot of great activities. It was great to see Memphis show up in that way. Definitely unfortunate that there was a fight at the end. It was about 2 hours after the event had ended. Those individuals were still on the streets.
Noting city leaders and law enforcement have a role to play, but they need help from everyone.
We have to look at our young people, see what they're doing every day. If they're walking out of the house with a backpack and they're not going to school, we should be asking questions around what's in the backpack. Those are things that we as parents should do.
Stephanie, so many people around when those gunshots went off. If anyone knows anything, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at number 901-528-CASH for your news leader.
Wow.
A large event following Ole Miss, the first football game of the season, ends in gunfire at a barbecue restaurant. This all happened on South Lamar Boulevard over the weekend. Tonight, we learned 19-year-old Antoine Terrell Tompkins was charged with aggravated assault following the event. Fox 13 Sierra Jordan breaks down what led up to the shooting.
Boo's Barbecue and Yard may seem quiet and empty now, but Oxford police say over the weekend it was packed. They say things got out of control and ended with gunfire. This cell phone video obtained by Fox 13 shows over 100 people at Boo's Barbecue and Yard on South Lamar Boulevard around 12:30 Sunday morning. Oxford police say the crowd gathered after Ole Miss' first football game of the season, but the celebration turned violent. Oxford police says the crowd caused parking and traffic problems on South Lamar. An Uber driver who asked to remain anonymous told Fox 13 those conditions made the roads dangerous for drivers and riders.
Crowds of people, and those are absolutely insane, especially when you have a whole lot of intoxicated people.
Around 12:45 a.m., police say 19-year-old Antoine Terrell Tompkins fired a gun. Officers rushed in and took him into custody. Police.
Wow. Salute to the officers, man. Rushed in and took him into custody while he was firing a gun. He survived. They survived. That's a miracle, man. This dude starts busting off and the cops swoop in. That's good police work, man.
Into custody. Police also arrested 20-year-old Desiree Douglas and charged him with carrying a concealed weapon.
Literally, it felt like right behind my car, multiple gunshots just rang off. Like, I didn't even have to question if it was gunshots. I was like my heart literally just hit my stomach. I was on the phone with the rider the whole time, which I felt so bad about because all you could hear on her end was screaming. Investigators say about 20 officers worked until 3 in the morning to clear the area, making 42 traffic stops and seizing 10 guns. Fox 13 found this flyer advertising a back-to-school party at booths the same night. Police say 3 event organizers were cited for noise and inadequate security. The owner, 42-year-old Josh Booth, was also cited for lack of security and awareness, no age verification system, and no safety plan. Fox 13 spoke with students who say they were shocked about the gun violence following the game.
I wouldn't say gun violence is really a problem here. I think some bad things can happen really anywhere.
There's presence all around the square, and for that to happen in Oxford in such a big environment and an open environment like Booth's, that's insane that was allowed, especially here.
Thankfully, there were no injuries. We did reach out to the owner of Booth's Barbecue and Yard, but we are still waiting to hear back. In Oxford, Mississippi, Sierra Jordan, Fox 13 News.
And we start with breaking news.
So that was a football situation. Now let's go to comedy, man. Comedy. What race has comedians drop? Comedians bring joy, right? They bring joy. How do so many black comedians get murdered? It's just insane, man. Salute to Gouch Merlot, man. Make sure you take the $5 challenge. I'm back in effect, man. I had to take care of a family emergency, man. Salute to everybody that stuck with us, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building now, man. Daytime stream.
And we start with breaking news. New information about a shooting that killed a comedian last week in North Mississippi. The district attorney there said today that the suspect, Ternal Williams, and victim, Reggie Carroll, were roommates.
Fox 13 Sierra Jordan joins us live from South Haven tonight. Sierra, you've gotten more details from investigators, in fact, within the past few hours.
That's right, Darcy. DeSoto County District Attorney Matthew Barton says Williams and Carroll both lived in that home where Carroll was shot and killed 1 week ago. He says comedian Cat Williams was not involved with that shooting. Now, we know Carroll was touring with Cat Williams, and sources tell us Ternal Williams was working security on that tour. But Barton confirmed Carroll does not own the home on Burton Lane. It's actually a rental property. But Fox 13 found a notice to vacate that included Onyx Owl LLC, and that is Cat Williams' clothing line. The DA says this will be a lengthy and thorough investigation, and he urges the public to be patient.
I do want to dispel a few, rumors that may be going around. This was an incident between two roommates that knew each other. One of them is from California. One of them is from Maryland. This is not an indication that there's a problem in that community or neighborhood. This is not indicative of a violent crime issue in our city. It's just an isolated event that's limited to those two people involved.
Now, Williams was supposed to have his first court appearance today, but Barton says the defense asked to hold off for another week. He will stay in jail with no bail. Now, coming up at 6, more from the DeSoto County District Attorney about this investigation. Darcy?
That is Fox 13 Sierra Jordan reporting live tonight. Thank you, Sierra.
News in the Mid-South.
But tonight, the comedy world is mourning one of their own. Nationally known comedian Reginald Carroll was shot and killed in South Haven. While his accused killer is in jail, Fox 13's Martin Staunton brings us the tributes from our community and across the country.
Carroll was 52 years old when his life came to an end on this street in South Haven. We spoke with people in the community about the idea that a world-renowned comedian was murdered here.
But it's crazy. Like, who would want to murder a person like that? That's what's going through my mind.
I read his charts. The boy said he's invincible.
Reggie Carroll spent the past 3 decades bringing laughter across the country. He first appeared on BET's Comic View during its first season in 1992.
The tall tooth standing over top of the short tooth. Then the third tooth ain't even looking at the camera.
His comedy credits don't stop on the stand-up stage. In the late 90s, he had a role in the sitcom The Parkers. It was that television appearance that led to Carroll's lasting relationship with Oscar-winning comedian Monique. She posted about her friend's murder in South Haven on Instagram.
This is why I say, treat people the best you can, because you never know if you'll get a chance to see them again. And the last time me and my brother Reggie Carroll was together, that's what it was. An amazing time being on tour together, being on that road together. What a time. So I have no sad tears because all of our times together was amazing. Was amazing.
Carroll had most recently been touring with comedian Cat Williams, but published reports say that tour was put on hiatus when Carroll was shot last Wednesday. Williams has not issued a statement at this point, but reposted an old tribute, according to some other published reports. South Haven police are investigating, and they have a suspect in custody, but as of Sunday afternoon, the name of that person charged with murder in Carroll's death has not been released, but people around South Haven are expressing shock.
It's very surprising because I don't hear about a lot of crime rate going on in South Haven.
Now, the world will only have memories of Carroll and the laughs he left behind.
My name's Reggie Carroll, y'all.
There is still not a lot of information being released about the events leading up to the deadly shooting that claimed Carroll's life on this street in South Haven. Police here say it remains an active investigation. In South Haven, Martin Staunton, Fox 13 News.
I say this a lot. This video is about one of the worst mayors in America today. Like, for instance, she said,
No, we're not gonna watch that one. We're gonna keep the news going. I like him though. I like Nate the lawyer, man. But I don't wanna. I had to let y'all listen to something while I was gone dealing with that family issue. So I don't want to have to y'all bored with that. I want to listen to some news, man. We're gonna go to New York, man. Let's go to Atlanta. Atlanta.
Taking a look at our top stories here, Smyrna police have launched an investigation after a body was found in an apartment complex fire. This happened at the Bella 810 apartments on Windy Hill Road in Smyrna this morning. Fire crews who were just around the corner put out the fire quickly, but once they found the body, they called police. Authorities have not publicly identified the victim. An update to another fire we followed this week. The family of a woman killed in an apartment fire Monday wants the public's help. 48-year-old Stephanie Wiley died when she was trapped in an upstairs bathroom, and her son suffered multiple injuries after having to jump from a window to escape the blaze. Authorities say Wiley's ex-boyfriend set the blaze. And a fight ended in a stabbing at South Gwinnett High School. In a note sent home to parents, 2 students were fighting when the third student attempted to break it up. That's when the third student got stabbed. Medics rushed them to the hospital. The 2 students involved in the fight will face disciplinary action from the school, and the student responsible for the stabbing will face criminal charges.
The police have made another arrest in connection with the deadly shooting last spring in southwest Atlanta. Police have charged Tony Walton with murder and aggravated assault. The shooting happened in March near an apartment complex and gas station on Sylvan Road. Officers found 2 victims there. 6 Atlanta police arrested a former Pace Academy teacher this week on charges of sexual battery of a minor. Police saying, Pace, that is, says it fired Marshall Lopez in May. According to jail records, he's charged with 2 counts of sexual battery of 2 different teenage girls between March and May of this year at school. Court records say the alleged assault happened when Lopez was punishing the girls after class.
Now to a news alert. Atlanta police need help identifying 3 suspects accused of robbing a rideshare driver. Take a look at this Nest home video. Officers responded to a home on Granite Hills Road Friday. They say 3 men robbed a rideshare driver at...
Now, here's my thing. Okay, so you robbing a rideshare driver. Everything is on the app, right? Everything is on the app. All of the transactions are on the application. All the transactions are on the app. And you're riding a rideshare driver.
Look at this Nest home video. Officers responded to a home on Granite Hills Road Friday. They say 3 men robbed a rideshare driver at gunpoint near the location. If you can identify any of the men in the video, call Crime Stoppers. In Cobb County, an unusual accident left a garbage truck, a car, and a house damaged. Skyfox 5 flew over the scene, the home located on Tristan Drive Southeast. And it looked like the garbage truck somehow lost control before hitting the car and the home. The crash also started a fire on the garbage truck, which has burned the other vehicle and the house. No word if anyone was hurt, but you could see a number of Cobb County fire units were on scene.
Fulton County commissioners once again faced pressure today to approve 2 Republican nominees to the county's election board as a legal battle brews, but they avoided.
Baltimore celebrated an historic milestone last month, recording its lowest number of homicides in decades.
But a closer look at that data shows nearly half of those murders happened in Park Heights.
Fox 45's Rebecca.
We covered that last night. Oh man, no wonder my algorithm is all jacked up. I'm on my wrong channel. I was wondering what was wrong with my algorithm. I'm on the wrong channel. I was wondering what was wrong with my algorithm. Shout out to not Jimmy Stewart, man. 81 likes. That's pretty good, man. Thank you for snitching, man. Thank you for snitching. 81 likes. That's what's up. We could do better, but we're fine. That's fine for right now. That's fine for right now. Yeah, this is my channel. This is what I want. I was like, what the hell's going on with my algorithm? Goodness gracious. I'm gonna bullshit.
That's a black guy. That image on the screen right now you're looking at, that's actually a black guy. He put on makeup, and he even got makeup for a fake farmer stand. And he did this comedy bit where he dresses up like a white redneck guy and goes to NASCAR and then makes a bunch of jokes. And it's getting massive attention with a lot of people questioning whiteface. Why is it that a black man is allowed to dress up and put on makeup like a white guy, make fun of white people like this, but you can't do it the other way? And it is and always has been oppression Olympics critical race theory. It is simple. If you're an oppressed group, you're off limits. If you're punching up, that's A-okay. That has been the ideology of the left forever, going back decades. Even the 90s, this was the case. Comedians can say cracker. I can even say it on YouTube. But you can't say any racial slurs targeting black people because black people are the oppressed group. That's really funny. I don't know that actually, I'm not offended by this. I actually think it's pretty funny.
You know what? That's what I hear a lot of white people saying. A lot of white people say, "Oh, I'm not offended by this. This makes me." Yeah, Drewski is funny. Drewski is hilarious. This skit is actually hilarious. This skit was hilarious. All his skits are hilarious. However, though, I've noticed a lot of white people say, "Oh, I thought it was funny. I'm not bothered by it." Listen, let me tell you this. If another white comedian did, and I'm not even calling it blackface, if another white comedian made himself up to be a black celebrity or a black person and, walked around acting like a black person, Drewski would be upset about it. Press 1. Drewski would be he would be leading the charge against it. He would be on the pulpit screaming about how horrible it was. So it's like, yeah, white people, we get it that you're not upset, but we're still going to get upset. You can't play that game where, like, your public stance as a white person is, hey, man, it's cool, it's all right, because we're still going to get upset if you do it to us. We're not going to, you can't play that reverse psychology with us. Like, man, this is it's just jokes. It's all fun. Okay, that's fine that you feel that way. And actually, we don't care what you think. Let me change that. We don't care. We don't care. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do whatever we want. See, right? Press 1. We're gonna do whatever the fuck we want. But if you do the reverse, and I'm not talking about with just pitch black paint on your face. I'm talking about you actually, a white comedian actually made himself up to look like, let's just say, Usher or something. You know what I'm saying? Or some black entertainer or Diddy. Just to do a skit. We're gonna call for you to lose your job. We're gonna call for you to never work in the public sphere. We're gonna call for you to be exiled from polite society. So you can be cool with it this way. I don't know if that's the right stance. I don't know if the right stance is to come out and say, oh, we're cool with it. It's all good. It doesn't bother us. I don't know if that's the right stance. Especially if you're conservative. I think the right stance is to meet them with the same energy. Okay? Because if you make one misstep, they're going to call for you to lose everything. They're going to want you to lose everything. Okay? But this is very interesting, man. It helps that it's funny too. One thing that helps that it's funny, that it was actually a funny skit.
But here's the story. The New York Post is covering it. This dude's got like 60 million views on this video with people calling a double standard. What are you going to do? You're going to cancel him? I don't think you should. I also don't think Sarah Silverman should have been canceled because she did blackface before as a joke. This guy's not literally doing whiteface. Okay, I guess maybe you can call it that, but let's break this down. First, let me show you what's actually happening. Comedian Drewski's viral whiteface performance stuns fans and draws ire for racist portrayal of NASCAR fans. I don't care. Guys, bro, I'm going to pull up a video for you guys. I've got all these videos pulled up that, let me see if this is, I think this is one. And let me tell you about where we currently are as a country. I'm going to pull up some racist videos for all over Instagram. YouTube might get mad, but I'm going to make a point. I'm going to make a point about this. I saw this video at first. I didn't even think anything of it. I actually thought that was a white dude. It's not. Here you go. Look at that. It's a black guy. And I think we got the video right here. Let me play some of this video for you. He put on makeup.
Here's the love. Here's the honor. If you can't come in her, come on her.
I'm not even mad. Why would I be mad? Most people don't know this. Born in the USA is is a critical of the United States.
Hey, Suanna. She's not listening. Hey, come on. You need to listen to your nana. Go ahead, baby. Girl, you crazy now.
that was a slip up. Girl, you crazy. That's not redneck talk. It's not redneck talk. The fake racism is cringe.
Hey, me, Ma.
Make fun of them.
How you doing,
Make
baby?
fun of them for being in NASCAR. That's fine. Whatever. I gotta be honest. I'm pretty bored by this. Okay. All right. We get it. You want to know why I ain't even mad about this? Because I'm gonna pull up this video. This is Instagram right here. 10,000 likes, and YouTube's not gonna like this one. But I'm not gonna cry. This is where we are right now as a country. Let me play this clip.
I swiped the EBT. It said decline. Girl, I ain't paying no cash. Hell no.
You ever been in a situation like this with a bonnet-wearing LaFonda? You're not racist. You're just exhausted. That's when my doctor prescribed me Civilize. Not to make it better, just so I could keep my mouth shut and walk away.
With Civilize, you don't hear the ignorance. You don't feel the heat. You just move forward. Thanks to Civilize, I don't even hear it anymore.
Bro.
Yo, they need to come out with that. That would be a really good drug to come out with, Civilized, man. That would be an excellent drug, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. That thing would fly off the shelves. That would fly off of the shelves. But that's AI. That's not a person that you can attack. I hope he's not comparing AI with a person that you can actually unleash your ire on. Let's just say a white person did blackface. There's no comparison between an AI video and a person doing it. I hope that's not what he's going to try to intimate here, man.
Civilized. This is an Instagram video. It's got 10,000 likes. It's got millions of views. This ain't even the only one. I got more. I'm gonna show you more. My point is this. There are tons of these ultra viral videos on Instagram right now. I was talking about this the other day. This one's got 11,000 likes. So I think these videos have millions of views. Listen to this.
There, the African ceiling bird. It calls and is ignored.
Okay, that has like 500,000. There's so many more of these. Let me pull up another one for you guys. Look, I'm going to put it like this. This comedian mocked white people. I don't care that he does. Right now, when you go on Instagram, you can watch tons of these videos. They get spam blasted like crazy. Yo, I don't even understand this. There are videos, there are whole channels dedicated to literally AI George Floyd and Derek Chauvin engaging in weird behaviors. One, they're kissing. In one.
Yeah, but Tim, you could see the liberal in him always seems to seep out. Press one. The inner liberal, like he's so liberal. He's such a liberal. He's such a liberal. It's not the same thing. You can't call for this AI video's job. You can't interview this AI video and ask them why they did it. Do they understand how offensive this is? You can't protest outside of this AI video's next movie shoot or production studio. He's such a liberal. He does a good job though, like pretending to be a conservative, but he's a super duper liberal, man. It's not the same thing at all. These are apples and turnips. These aren't even apples and oranges. These are apples and potatoes. These are not the same thing. And listen, man, I don't have a problem with these videos, these AI videos. They're funny to me, but to compare it to what Drewski did is just disingenuous, man. And it's annoying, man, to try to make that comparison. Because you know what he's trying to do. He's trying to make it seem like it's nothing, but it is something what Drewski did. It's something because it's different. It's at least different than this. Why I don't know why he can't argue that what Drewski did was nothing without comparing it to this. He could just be like, look, man, Drewski did that. He went white-faced, and I don't care. But comparing it to this is just annoying. It's very annoying. Press 1. And make sure you hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. We're trying to get 10 people to share this stream. I had to leave for a second. This family emergency. I'm back, man. Daytime stream for the people who can't make the nighttime stream. Daytime stream for the people who can't make the nighttime stream.
Derek Chauvin stole a bucket of fried chicken from George Floyd, and George Floyd's chasing after him, and it's got like 2 million views. The pendulum has swung back, baby. Okay, so I'm not going to get offended by a black dude dressing up like a white guy and doing a bit. We're going to be like, it's funny, make fun of people. Check this one out.
Y'all telling me I drove all the way here and y'all ain't got no fried chicken.
Any specials?
Give me one
This is
minute.
crazy. Do you have any specials?
I think someone is here to see you.
And there's a guy with
Can I
Down
have mac
syndrome.
and cheese, please?
Sir, this is a Japanese restaurant.
Oh, can I have it a mac and a cheese, Paris?
For ethnicity, are you 7-Eleven or 9/11?
Yo.
So, what do you do for a living?
I'm a pirate.
Oh, so you rob ships and stuff?
No, I'm a pirate. I fry airplanes.
Watch this. I know a cheat code to make us go down faster.
Okay, that was not racist. It's just brutal.
Let's ask fate. Sounds like. Bing, ding, bang.
I find you guilty on 8 counts of scamming. I sentence you to a 15-minute shower.
No, Your Honor, please, I'm begging you. Anything but that.
I'm going to put it like this. Listen, if you can't laugh at jokes, then we got a problem. The pendulum has swung, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't care. I don't, I got to be honest.
Yeah, but Tim, if there was a white man a white comedy skit crew, a white comedy troupe that made any of those videos live, that recorded those videos and made them as real people, they would be under fire. So there's no comparison with that and the AI videos. It's no comparison. It's just, you're just being annoying, man. Press 1. He's just being really annoying for no reason.
So I'm not actually convinced anyone actually is upset with this black comedian mocking white people right now. They say he completed the redneck character's look with a mullet, beard, American flag, cowboy hat. The skit, which has gone mega viral, shows Drewski, legal name Andrew Desbordes, palling around with tailgaters at a race, talking in an exaggerated Southern accent. I think, do I have the tweet pulled up? Yeah, it's got 60 million views, 65,000 retweets. Listen, I don't know. Hodge Twin said, hell yeah, brother. What did this person say? Deadass, some of y'all will find racism in literally everything, and that's pathetic. If you're really out here calling Drewski racist, it just shows how slow and hypocritical you are. It's a classic Key and Peele move, holding up a mirror to white folks. What do you say? White folks acting extra like it's comedy, not a hate crime. For real, how many times have y'all seen some white dude? Now I'm going to put it like this. Those videos I just showed you where they're overt stereotypes. I mean, the one where the guy's in the sub and he's like, and explodes, certainly is not racist. But dude, there are so many videos endlessly on Instagram where it's Indian people, it's AI generated videos where it's like, there was one where this little Indian boy goes, Dad, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. And he's like, no son of mine will be a doctor. You will be a scammer. Otherwise I will spray you with deodorant. And the kid goes, no, not deodorant. And it's got like 5 million views. The pendulum has swung so far back in the other direction. I'm getting a little uncomfortable, to be completely honest. I ain't crying about it though. What does this guy says? Notice how no white folks acted like you were. And why did you spit at the feet of black people? I wish you could go back and ask them how many times that happened that day. You treated them worse than a white person did, I assure you. Guess we can start doing blackface now. Dude, what someone said? Theo Von can now do blackface with 0 backlash. Bro, that's the point I'm making. Okay? Drewski says that guy who is just proud to be American. I ain't got no beef. I thought it was pretty funny. I don't think it's the funniest thing in the world. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm banging on my, laughing. And it's a funny bit. He's just like a white guy and it's going massively viral. But to all the people who are upset about this, who are saying like, could we do blackface for that? Sure. Do whatever you want. Bro, I'm on Instagram. I was sick for 3 weeks.
He's so disingenuous. Is he Jewish? Is he Juice Crew? Is this guy Juice Crew? I'm not sure. I don't know if he's Jewish. Juice Crew. Does anybody in the chat know? Is this guy Juice Crew? Because it's like he's giving horrible advice. Oh, Catholic Korean. Okay. He's giving horrible advice. And he's intentionally taking a horrible take. Okay. Because what he's doing right here is he's trying to he's setting white people up. He's setting white people up as if he don't know that if Theo Vaughn does blackface, it's gonna be like the world came to an end. It's literally gonna be like the world came to an end if Theo Vaughn does blackface.
Funniest thing in the world. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm banging on my, laughing. And it's a funny bit. He's just like a white guy and it's going massively viral. But to all the people who are upset about this, who are saying like, could we do blackface for that? Sure. Do whatever you want. Bro, I'm on Instagram. I was sick for 3 weeks and I'm just scrolling, right? Holy crap. I can't tell you how many times Instagram tried to get me to watch George Floyd breakdancing with Derek Chauvin. It's like whole channels that, you know what? I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling this up. Derek Chauvin stealing a bucket of fried chicken from George Floyd. I have no idea why this stuff exists. Look at oh my! Look at this. What is going on? Is that like Tom Cruise running? 15,000 likes. Listen, my point is this. You might say these slipped past Instagram censors or whatever. I don't even think so. There are pages with hundreds of thousands of followers spam blasting all of these racist jokes. What is this? Like, look at this. It's just right here, right underneath. There's a bunch of them. What is this one? What is this? It's Instagram.
So Jamal, what's your dream?
I want to have a Hellcat, 6 baby mamas, and EBT.
Is this AI? Yo, I'm going to say it again. Shout out Jersky for the bit. I thought it was pretty good. I give it a B-. That's my review. I'm not going to blow.
Yeah, I don't think he's clueless. I think he's intentionally doing this. I don't think he's that clueless. He's not that clueless. No way.
Topic of the hour, the New York City mayoral race just 2 months away, and all eyes are on who, if anyone, will drop out of the now 4-person race. The New York Times reporting the Trump administration held discussions about a possible job in housing and urban development for incumbent Eric Adams if he stopped his reelection campaign. They write, quote, the goal, the people said, would be to give former Governor Andrew Cuomo a better chance of defeating Mamdani, the Democratic nominee in November's general election. Adams' campaign spokesperson, Todd Shapiro, firing back, saying, quote, although Mayor Adams has been the most pro-housing mayor in New York City's history, at no time did he ask for, nor was he offered a job at HUD. Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani criticizing the White House yesterday. Watch this.
That Andrew Cuomo is Donald Trump's choice to be the next mayor of this city. This is, however, about an affront to our democracy. An affront to what makes so many of us proud to be Americans. that we choose our own leaders, not that they get to pick themselves, not that they get to be picked by the President of the United States. If I was worried about polling, I wouldn't be the Democratic nominee.
Pretty sure we're going to have an election in November when people go to the polls and vote. If I'm not, I think I'm right on that. Republican mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa, who was also named in that article, saying this on X. The only job I'm interested in is being the next mayor of NYC. I have not been contacted by the White House. I'm not interested in a job with the White House. My focus is right here in New York City, as it always has been. Mark Tepper, your reaction to this?
Well, based on polling, unless we can get this to a head-to-head mayoral race, it seems like Mamdani is going to cruise to victory. So I think it's super important that we come up with some sort of a strategy. And if positions have been gently offered to either Eric Adams or Curtis Sliwa, I think that could kind of help the cause here. A city that was built on capitalism, in my opinion, cannot have a socialist or maybe even communist.
Yeah, but if that's who they vote for, then they deserve what they get. They deserve what they get. They deserve what they get.
Mayor, if that were to happen, you're going to end up killing the golden goose just to try and, pretend like you're delivering city-run grocery stores and rent freezes, which I don't know how you can deliver that when all of a sudden the golden goose leaves and there's no more high-income earners to tax.
Look, we're 2 months away, and Mamdani has been trying to pivot away from the Democratic Socialists of America, which he is a member of the New York City chapter, and they've got some very frightening things on their platform. But pivoting back to this New York Times story that just got released, we had Mayor Eric Adams on this program, and I asked him about this. Watch this. Some that have said that maybe President Trump should offer you a job so that you would step out of the race in New York, clear the way for someone that's not Zohran Mamdani. Would you ever consider something like that?
Well, I have a job, the greatest job on the globe, the mayor of the city of New York. And when you think about it, I'm the only one that's running that has won being mayor. No one else has. Andrew ran in the primary. He lost by 12 points. Polls were showing that he was up, when in reality, he underestimated the unregistered voter. We're going to register 1 million new voters. We're going to allow the 91% of New Yorkers to come out and voice what they want our city to look like. Only 9% voted in the primary. 91% have yet to communicate. So the question becomes, do we want to defund our police or support our police? Do we want to empty Rikers Island and allow those dangerous criminals back in the community to impact them? Or we want to make sure that they serve their time for the crimes? Do we want to support small supermarkets, or do we want government supermarkets and dismantle the industry? So there's some real differences between.
Yeah, but they're gonna vote Democrat. They're gonna vote for Mamdani and then they're gonna leave. That's what's gonna happen. A bunch of these New York liberals are gonna vote for Mamdani and then leave once he becomes mayor, because it's gonna be a hellhole. It's gonna turn into a shithole. So they're gonna vote for him and then leave because they don't want to live in a shithole. You can't hear it? All right, it's up all the way. That's up all the way. So if you can't hear it, I can't make it any louder. It's up all the way. So we'll just watch something. That's up as far as you can go.
The federal law enforcement surge in D.C. Glad you're with us. I'm Adam Longo.
And I'm Adriana Hopkins. A new order by D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser will keep federal officers on patrol in D.C. longer than originally planned. But we're also learning this morning the National...
Oh, so she wants to keep them there a little longer. Oh, so the mayor's like, she's, she didn't make no big press conference, but she she just signed the order. Yeah, keep the National Guard here a little bit longer. Interesting.
The federal law enforcement surge in D.C. Glad you're with us. I'm Adam Longo.
And I'm Adriana Hopkins. A new order by D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser will keep federal officers on patrol in D.C. longer than originally planned. But we're also learning this morning the National Guard could be sticking around longer, too.
Yeah, 7 News is on your side with team coverage of these developments.
No volume. No volume. No volume. No volume. No volume. Press 1 if you can hear. Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting, man. We'll see.
John Gonzalez is live breaking down the mayor's new order and the changes that she wants made.
But let's start with John Rogers at the alert desk. And John, we're hearing the troops already here in D.C. could be here for several more months.
Yeah, they absolutely could. It's for an interest.
Wow. Several more months. Why not just keep them there forever? I mean, think about it, right? What are you going to do? So let's say several more months, right? So it's September. September, October, November. Now what are you going to send them home during the holiday season? When you know the YNs are going to be out jacking everybody for their Christmas gifts and following people home from Macy's and JCPenney and Toys R Us, following people home from the mall and carjacking them for their gifts. And they're going to be like breaking in people's homes, stealing their flat screens. Even though you get a flat screen for $50 now, but they still going to do it. So if you're going to keep them on for a few more months, you definitely ain't sending them home for the holiday season. You're not going to want to unleash that beast that's been repressed for months. You're not going to want to let them up. You're not going to want to release that all that pressure that you've been holding back for months. You're not going to want to release that during the holiday season. Press 1. Press 1. You're not going to want to release all that during the holiday season. Because these guys are itching to get back out there and thug it up, and they're laying low right now. If you take your foot off the pedal during the holiday season, that's almost a criminal on the part of DC. So you got to keep them here for at least the rest of the year. You got to keep them here for at least the rest of the year. You got to keep the National Guard in D.C. for at least the rest of the year.
reason. So we are learning that National Guard troops in D.C. could have their military orders extended through December. A senior official says this extension is actually intended to ensure the continuity of benefits for these service members and their families. You see, Guard members typically do not qualify for military benefits unless they're on active orders for more than 30 days. As we've been told, this was only expected to last 30 days. So it's unclear how long the mission will go on. The extension has not yet.
Look at what they're doing. They're cleaning up the area. I think this is Haynes Point, if I'm not mistaken. This is a park that used to be beautiful back in the day. Black people used to go there and hang out. And now it's overrun with grass and weeds. And me and my wife went there one time. It was so dank and dirty and trash everywhere. Salute, man.
Been finalized. The White House would not confirm the expected extension when asked for comments. We'll let you know what happens.
Now to Mayor Bowser's order extending President Trump's federal crime crackdown. The order is expanding the city's role in all of this.
Yeah, so 7 News' John Gonzalez is live for us at the Wilson Building with what this means for public safety and the homeless.
Adriana, good morning. Yeah, the mayor making it very clear this new order is about safety and accountability. It will keep federal agents on the ground here in D.C., but she wants to see some changes with how they patrol the streets. She says they must identify themselves, must carry badges, ID, must be able to show those badges, and she doesn't want to see these federal agents with their faces covered. Now, take a look. The order creates a new safe and beautiful emergency operations center as well to coordinate with federal agencies from the FBI and Secret Service.
See, she's saying all that to please the white liberals that are complaining about it. And I think that's a foolish move on her. Like when she says they got to wear badges and can't have their face covered. You're never going to please those white liberals in D.C. So making an overture to try to please them is just, all you're doing is handicapping the National Guard now. Because some of their tactics they may need to have their face covered. Some of their tactics, they may need not to be identified. Some of the things they do, they may not need to be have to come and identify themselves and wear badges. Sometimes they have to move stealthily. Okay? And she wants to take that away from them to please white liberals who are still going to complain as long as they're there. The only thing she can do to please the white liberals is get rid of the National Guard. If she does anything other than get rid of them, it's foolish. It's foolhardy on her part. And I know how she's doing it. She's a chick, but she's just trying to please everybody. But unless you're going to get rid of them, don't do anything that the white liberals ask you for. Don't negotiate with terrorists. Take the $5 challenge. Support the channel, man. Daytime stream for the people who can't see the nighttime stream. Daytime stream. We going hard, man. Here. I think tonight we're gonna focus more on crime, but today it seems to be a lot of politics going on.
Now, take a look. The order creates a new safe and beautiful emergency operations center as well to coordinate with federal agencies from the FBI and Secret Service to the U.S. Park Police. It also prioritizes using the D.C. National Guard for specific missions. The mayor being very blunt yesterday, saying she doesn't feel that part of the operation has been effective. The same order pushes for continued clearing of homeless encampments. City leaders say about 80 people have recently moved into shelters over the past couple of weeks, but advocates warn resources are already stretched thin. Representative Jamie Raskin is pushing back, introducing a resolution to terminate this federal surge, but House Republicans defend the actions.
The purpose of this resolution is to say, one, there's no emergency. If there was an emergency, it was a public relations crisis around the Epstein file.
President Trump has rightfully exercised his authority to restore law and order here over the last few weeks. And what a tremendous job our federal law enforcement officers have done for this city. This is what happens when you have leadership that actually cares about public safety.
Now, here at City Hall, the mayor says the new emergency center will also focus on public safety, housing, and economic recovery while continuing to work side by side with these federal agencies. The question now is, how long will this partnership last? Reporting live, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
Start with the federal law enforcement surge in D.C. Thanks for being with us this morning. I'm Adriana Hopkins.
And I'm Adam Longo. So far, nearly 1,700 arrests have been made in this operation. More than 200 of those happened over the holiday weekend.
Officers have also recovered nearly 170 illegal guns, and President Trump once again touting the operation at the White House yesterday.
District of Columbia, right here where we are, it's now a safe zone. We have no crime. It's in such great shape. We don't have a crime problem in Washington anymore. And the mayor has been very helpful, and the police commission has been very helpful, and it's been a great team.
Meantime, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser issued an order yesterday to continue the increased federal law enforcement presence in the city. The mayor says the safe and beautiful Emergency Operations Center will manage the city's response and coordinate with federal law enforcement both during and after the president's takeover. But that also includes working with federal agents to make sure they're not wearing masks, clearly identifying their agency, and providing identification during arrests or encounters with the public.
Is she gonna make it so the YNs can't wear Pooh Shiesty masks? Is she gonna pass a bill for that? I don't know if she can. I don't know if she has the authority. Somebody said that in the chat. She don't have the authority to tell the National Guard how they can present themselves. That's ridiculous. Just be the mayor of the city and stop getting tangled up in all this stuff that you ain't got no business having to say so in.
Like, the goal is to improve trust between police and the community.
With the surge of federal officers now expected to stick around past the 30-day emergency order, we are hearing about the impacts of the increased presence.
Yeah, some workers in the hospitality industry say immigration enforcement is creating fear and cutting into business. Straight out live to 7 News reporter John Gonzalez to tell us what both sides are saying. John, good morning.
Hey, Adam and Adriana, good morning to you both. You know, restaurant owners and staff here in the district say that the presence of federal troops right outside of their shops over the past several weeks has created fear. They say employees are simply too afraid to show up to work. However, immigration enforcement leaders say that the operation here is legal. These stops are carefully targeted and necessary. Now, 7 News spoke with founder and CEO of Busboys and Poets, Andy Shalal. He says that one of his staff members was pulled over by ICE recently and had to show his green card. He says some staff who normally come.
Okay, and what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Commute into the district are choosing to stay in Virginia instead. The union that represents hospitality workers, many of them immigrants and women of color, say fear is costing jobs and hours. ICE officials are pushing back, saying more than 70% of those detained in D.C. have a criminal history, and they insist their operations are based on intelligence and targeted enforcement.
And it's not because they don't have papers. It's just because they feel scared being stopped. You know, even if you're a citizen, you get stopped by the police, you always have this anxiety of why am I getting stopped and what's this going to lead to?
Is causing a lot of fear. It's causing people to lose their jobs. Our workers are not working right now. Management don't have business, so they're not scheduling people.
What we do is we pride ourselves on targeted enforcement and intelligence-based investigations.
And also new this morning, the Pentagon is authorizing some 600 military lawyers to temporarily serve as immigration judges, aimed at reducing a big backlog with these cases right now. Reporting live, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
Well, amid concerns about crime, people in Northwest D.C.'s Shaw neighborhood are pushing for more police presence, and they are getting a positive response. A congressional intern was fatally shot in that neighborhood back in June. This happened near a bus stop close to the Washington Convention Center, and that crime remains unsolved. We spoke with a neighborhood commissioner about violence that's erupted in her community.
Just think that drawing attention to what's going on and the police being proactive.
Rachel Negro. Her name is literally Rachel Negro. Like literally, that's her name. She got those big stupid glasses, man. I hate those glasses, man. So she wants more presence in her neighborhood. Let's see.
Convention Center, and that crime remains unsolved. We spoke with a neighborhood commissioner about violence that's erupted in her community.
Just think that drawing attention to what's going on and the police being proactive about it, I think will help.
Well, Commissioner Rochelle Nigro has been pushing to have more police officers on foot patrol in her neighborhood, and she says the 3rd District Police Commander has now agreed to that request.
Meantime, President Trump, once again, threatening to deploy.
So the mayor wants him to be there till December. The neighborhood commissioner for this neighborhood wants more of them on the streets. Yo, they got comfortable with this stuff, man. Listen, it's nice to be able to, just walk around and enjoy your city, man. They ain't ready to give that up yet. They are not ready to give that up.
The federal law enforcement surge in D.C. Glad you're with us. I'm Adam Longo.
This is the one we just watched. Yeah, there. Yeah, they're not ready to give that up, man. They're not ready to give it up. They got used to it, man. They got used to it. They got comfortable with it. Wow. Wow. Hey, listen, and I can't knock them, man. I mean, you can criticize something. You have the right. People have the right to change their mind. Okay? People have the right to change their mind. You know what I mean? They have the right to change their mind. They have the right to be against it and call it racist, and then to be like, hey, wait a second, after y'all leaving? Where y'all going? Oh, well, we're racist, so we're leaving. No, wait a second. Come back. Where y'all going? Well, we're leaving because we're racist. Oh, racist, man. You still tripping over that, man. You still tripping over us calling you racist, man. Man, don't worry about that, man. Come on, man. That ain't nothing, man. You gonna hold a grudge over that? Some words? Where you going? Oh, we leaving. We going to another city. No, come back. Wait a second, man. Wait a second. Let me holler at you for a second. Yeah, I mean, they changed their mind, but they're not gonna make a big deal about it, though. That's the thing. They're not gonna make a big deal about the fact that they changed their minds. They want that to just be like, a side note. Oh yeah, by the way, the mayor signed a bill saying that the National Guard can stay for another 3 months, because if they leave now, they won't get their benefits. We really doing it for the National Guard. Did you peep how they said that? If the National Guard doesn't work for over 30 days, they don't get their benefits. So we're gonna keep them here for another 90 days. Why not just keep them there for one more day? Why not just say, all right, we're going to keep the National Guard here for one more day so they can get their benefits, and then they got to get up out of here. He said, well, they need to get their benefits. If they leave now, they don't get their benefits. So we're doing this for them. We're actually doing it for them. We're actually doing it for them.
The federal law.
It's been a great team
to work side by side. Say about 80 people have recently moved into shelters over the past couple of
Bowser's order extending President Trump's federal crime crackdown. The order is expanding the city's role in all of this.
Yeah, so 7 News' John.
City leaders say about 80 people have recently moved into shelters over the past couple of weeks, but advocates warn resources are already stretched thin. Representative Jamie Raskin is pushing back, introducing a resolution to terminate this federal surge, but House Republicans
federal crime crackdown. The order is expanding the city's role in all of this.
Yeah, so 7 News' John Gonzalez is live.
Order is about safety and accountability. It will keep federal agents identify themselves, federal agents with their faces.
Where did she
feel
say
that part of the operation has been effective. The same order pushes for continued clearing of homeless encampments. City leaders say about 80 people have recently moved into.
Oh yeah, they said. I know they said it somewhere in here. I can't remember where they said it. They're trying to. They're doing it so that the soldiers can get their their benefits. You know, that's the only reason we're doing it.
It's his authority to restore law and order here over the last few weeks. And what a tremendous job our federal law enforcement officers have done for this.
The question now is, how long will this partnership last? Reporting live, John.
I know I heard him say that. Press 1 if you heard him say that. I heard him say that. I can't find it. I ain't tripping off. But I heard him say that. We're gonna, we're doing this for the soldiers, man, so they can get their benefits. Oh man.
This is a facility that's notorious. It's a facility. Angola prison is legendary, but that's a message that these individuals that are going to be here, this specific facility is going to host the most dangerous criminal illegal aliens in the country. They have.
She slipped. You heard that Freudian slip? Press 1 when you hear the Freudian slip.
That these individuals that are going to be here, this specific facility is going to host the most dangerous criminal illegal aliens in the country. They have a reputation for making sure that when people come here, they don't get out and they aren't able to impact the civilian population outside of these fences and outside of these walls.
Now, another state is on board. That's in Louisiana. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem touring what's known as the Louisiana Lockup. It's the latest ICE detention facility designed to hold the so-called worst of the worst criminal migrants. Louisiana Governor is Jeff Landry. He's with me now. And Governor, good morning to you.
Bill.
Why is this necessary?
Why is it necessary? Look, I think it's important to recognize that when you pick up gang members like MS-13 or TDA or all of these worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens, if you leave them in the civilian criminal population, especially the gang members, they'll continue to conduct their criminal activity outside. By concentrating them all in one place, it makes the country safer. They get to spend their time there. When their sentence is done, you deport them. That's how you reduce violence and you reduce criminal activity in this country.
Governor, I'm reading about this facility. It's on 18,000 acres. It sounds huge.
It is.
How many could you house?
Oh, Lord. We've got 18,000 acres. It is the largest maximum security penitentiary in the United States. We could house a lot of people if we wanted. What we did was we decided to take one of our maximum security camps. We renovated that camp and we put it in place to hold up to 400 of those worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens for deportation. It consolidates the facility. And if ICE wants more bed space, we'll find them the space.
Okay, so that's Angola. Now to New Orleans. I want to show our viewers what ICE says are some of the worst that have been picked up and arrested in New Orleans. And I guess you could say there are some bad hombres: cocaine smuggling, rape with a weapon, forcible sodomy, battery, family violence, and on it goes with the 5 on the screen. The president was asked about whether or not he sends the National Guard to your state, and specifically to the city of New Orleans. Here's how that went.
So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago or do we go to a place like New Orleans, where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to come in and straighten out a very nice section of this country that's become quite, quite tough, quite bad. So we're going to be going to maybe Louisiana, and you have New Orleans, which has a crime problem. We'll straighten that out in about 2 weeks.
You want to make some news?
He said he gonna straighten it out in 2 weeks. New Orleans really don't have a crime problem no more, man. Let me see. Let's see if New Orleans still got a crime problem, man. I mean, it was bad a couple years ago, but make sure you take the $5 challenge. Support the channel. Take the $5 challenge. We coming in. Take the $5 challenge. Take the $10 challenge. Take the $20 challenge. Double up, triple up. Let's see what's going on in New Orleans crime-wise.
Meanwhile, in Ponchatoula, a man is now facing arson charges from a fire on 8th Street Drive. Bryce Travis here was taken into custody yesterday by Ponchatoula police, confessing to several crimes, according to them, including the fire. He is now facing a number of charges, including aggravated arson.
Yup. See? I told you. Damn white people down there tearing up New Orleans.
And accused of walking onto a school campus and then hitting a football coach. Police say that Bradley Lewis went to that high school on Canal Street last month and just knocked the coach in the face. He is being charged with battery on a school teacher and aggravated assault. If you know where he is, please call police or Crime Stoppers. Also,
Okay. Something slight. Not too much going on.
2 lives taken miles apart, and now Jefferson Parish deputies are investigating 2 separate shootings on this holiday.
Deputies say the first unfolding on Highway 90 in Avondale, the second in a Harvey neighborhood. WDSU reporter Shay O'Connor live in that Harvey neighborhood to explain how the family is grappling with this unexpected loss.
Travis and Sella, just some hours ago, there was a pretty big scene right behind me in this area. A red car scene crashed into several vehicles in the driveway. As you can see, the garage door is actually still, messed up from the situation that happened earlier. Family identifies that man, that driver, as 24-year-old Tupac Shakur Robinson.
Who?
Identifies that man, that driver, as 24-year-old Tupac Shakur Robinson.
Tupac Shakur Robinson. That name is cursed, man. That name is cursed.
That happened earlier. Family identifies that man, that driver, as 24-year-old Tupac Shakur Robinson.
He was a boy, a lot of fun-loving kid, and of course, as a young adult, a hard worker, and always loving his family.
A 24-year-old shot and killed.
Pain is pain, no matter what, and it's just whoever committed the crime does not realize the gravity and the urgency of it.
Yeah, man, they killed Tupac. I'm sure they understand the gravity and the urgency. They killed Tupac, man. Salute to Mr. Clockwork, man. He says, giving us an afternoon show. Hit the like, share the stream, and hit the man with some hard-earned American currency for his efforts. Thanks for the work, Ak. Salute to you, man, Mr. Clockwork. Appreciate you, man. This is Tupac, man. Again, man. Tupac got killed again.
Loving kid, and of course, as a young adult, a hard worker, and always loving his family.
A 24-year-old shot and killed.
Pain is pain, no matter what, and it's just whoever committed the crime does not realize the gravity and the urgency of it all.
While driving this red car in Harvey, identified by family as
Yo, Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Look, guys. They go picture Tupac and Snoop Dogg. Ain't that a motherfucker? God damn, man. Just like the old days, man. Tupac hanging out with Snoop Dogg, man. This man's name is literally Tupac. Like, literally. Like, that is insane, man. Hold on. Let me just take this down for a second. Let me show you this. This is just like, that's his name, Tupac. Where's it at? Where is it? Yeah, the aunt of Tupac Shakur. Tupac Robinson. Tupac Shakur Robinson. That was his name. Tupac Shakur Robinson. That's literally his name. Wow.
And always loving his family.
a 24-year-old shot and killed.
You know, pain is pain no matter what. And it's just whoever committed the crime does not realize the gravity and the urgency of it all.
While driving this red car in Harvey, identified by family as Tupac Shakur Robinson. Family says he crashed his vehicle on Loch Lomond Drive near Aberdeen Street. Hours later, and his car was seen being towed away while a coroner's truck rolled in.
When it does come to the light and that person is incarcerated, their family's going to suffer too. So it's not just a loss for us.
JPSO says Robinson died on scene. Neighbors say they believe the shooter may have been behind the wheel of another car. Several reported hearing loud gunfire just before noon on Monday.
I came outside, I was like, Lord, some new stuff every day. This is shocking. We all normally, this don't happen around here. They don't even have no fighting around here.
It comes just hours after police say a man was shot and killed in the 3000 block of Highway 90 in Avondale. Witnesses say it happened just outside of this Wendy's. Caution tape seen still on scene. Deputies say they arrested 25-year-old Samaj Brown for the crime. A suspect hasn't been identified in the shooting death of Robinson. His family praying that they'll get answers soon.
I don't know how likely it is, but we would like them to come forward, to turn themselves in, so that all this can be rectified.
And the man found shot to death in Avondale has not yet been identified. Meanwhile, if you do know anything that could aid investigators here in Harvey when it comes to the death of Tupac Shakur Robinson, you're being urged to reach out to Crime Stoppers at 822-1111.
Damn, Tupac Shakur Robinson. Jeez. New Orleans, man. New Orleans is still pretty safe compared to what it used to be. Considering it, we used to come to New Orleans and be homicides. That's the first homicide we've seen in, it says 2 days. So yeah, oh wow. Oh yeah, that's the same one. This is the same one right here. That's the same story.
Happening right now, a block party under the Claiborne Avenue Bridge. And this one has a purpose. It is called Deep. Happening right now, a block party under the Claiborne Avenue Bridge. And this one has a purpose. It is called Deeply Rooted 20 Years and Beyond. The celebration looking back on how far the community has come since Katrina, while also spotlighting the culture and the strength that has kept New Orleans moving forward. There was live music, food, family activities, and the unveiling of a brand new mural
that tells the story of the Claiborne corridor. The idea is to transform what was once just concrete into a space for culture, connection, and progress.
I grew up around this area, so for me, it's kind of surreal to even be able to be like, I put a permanent impression on my city.
Organizers say that this event is more than remembering the past. It is also about lifting up the people and the traditions that continue to shape the future of the city. So all this weekend, we are going to continue to highlight the struggles and the triumphs faced since Hurricane Katrina. To see each story that is aired so far, you can scan the QR code that you see right here on your screen. Plus, you can stream all episodes of our special, Still Rising, right now on the Very Local app. It is free and available on most smartphones and televisions. And
Wow.
one of the hardest.
They remembering Katrina, man. Katrina, man, 20 years later.
Happening right now, a block party under the Claiborne Avenue.
Katrina, the good old days, man. The good old days of Katrina, man. Jeez. Whatever, man. I ain't beating up black for that, man. You know, it was it may actually be a good thing. Who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah, I mean, what looks like to be the playoffs, man. Katrina. Wow. Let's see what's going on up in Baton Rouge, man. Baton Rouge. Because Trump is going to do big things in Louisiana, man. He's got some big plans for Louisiana, man. Let's see what he's going to greet when he gets to Louisiana. Let's see. Baton Rouge.
A family is relieved tonight after an arrest in the shooting death of their cousin.
28-year-old Alex Burns is charged with murder in the death of Kimberlyn Martin and her unborn child. News 2's Sarah Gray Barr spoke to family members who say they need answers about what happened that night.
Michael, Sylvia, while Burns is being held in the EBR Parish Prison, the family of Kimberlyn Martin tell me every person involved in the death of their cousin needs to be arrested before closure is possible. On Wednesday, BRPD, with help from the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, arrested 28-year-old Alex Burns, charging him with first-degree murder and attempted first-degrry murder. This is in connection to the shooting death of 29-year-old Kimberlyn Martin, a mother of 3. She was pregnant and expecting a baby girl.
And baby Olivia. Yeah, that was the baby name was going to be Olivia.
In late July, BRPD responded to Martin's apartment here on Highland Road. There, officers found her shot, and the father of her unborn child, Dorian Burns, also injured. Both were taken to the hospital. Martin and her baby died. Dorian Burns survived. Martin's family says Alex Burns is brothers with Dorian Burns.
I don't have no idea why his own brother would try to kill him and then kill his baby mama and unborn child in the process.
They say the shooting came as a result of an altercation between the brothers.
From what we was told, he was aiming for Dorian. Dorian was running upstairs because Kimberlyn stayed in the upstairs on the second floor apartment, and he was running upstairs and she so happened to come out of her apartment and he shot her as well.
Martin's family believed Dorian Burns was not forthcoming with information regarding the night of her death.
He kept telling us, oh, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm like, how you don't know? Like, you don't know who was shooting at you, or Like the not mad thing, you got to make it make sense. Would have been Dorian's first kid. I mean, like, and you didn't want justice for your unborn child?
But there are questions still to be answered.
Why? Definitely. Why? Like, what happened? Like, what made it to this point? Life ahead of her.
Alex Burns is currently being held without bond. In studio, Sarah Grabar, WBRZ News 2.
Wow. Why?
New tonight, community members are working to stop the violence following fights at Livonia High School last month.
They hope bringing parents together at New Roads could develop some sort of solution. As News 2's Haley Jefferson reports, it was not much of a turnout.
Michael, Sylvia, while it was not the turnout that was expected, it didn't stop those in attendance from voicing what changes need to be made to address the violence in schools. It was an opportunity for both parents and law enforcement.
It wasn't the turnout you expected. Yeah, that's an understatement, man. That's an understatement, man. Jeez.
Opportunity for both parents and law enforcement in Point Capee Parish to discuss the recent fights at Livonia High School and develop some solutions.
Everybody knows they've had some issues in the beginning of the school year. Most of it is tapered off now. It's seemed to be a whole lot better. We're not having those issues at the last week or so. But it's very important to get as many parents that we possibly can get involved to discuss the issues and be involved.
One of the biggest concerns voiced by those in attendance, cell phone use during the school day. While state law does not permit cell phones on campus or the bus, some say the students are still showing up to school with their device, which sometimes plays a role in fights.
That's my grandson. He's first year Livonia. We heard cursing. We heard kids talking about fuss. They was fussing like they was fighting. She kept calling his name, so it was, I guess, a pocket dial. Okay, so that means he got his phone, his last period.
Others say the lack of things to do outside school also plays a role.
Doing stuff like building stuff for the kids that we need to have something to do instead of walking the streets with guns and all those backpacks.
James Big Brown Joseph, host of the meeting, says he feels a lot was accomplished. He says he will continue to work to get feedback from parents.
Our biggest focus now is basically that handbook, making sure that the policies are implemented and they're actually being done, instead of saying we got one rule for this situation, one rule for that situation.
Joseph plans to bring the ideas and possible solutions before the school board during their next meeting. Sylvia.
Haley Jefferson.
I just want to pick up on Senator Warren's point. Are you telling us?
All right, he's not talking about that. This is oh man.
All right, White House Chief of Staff for Policy, Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller is with us now. All right, let's get your reaction to that, because, you know, on this show, Stephen, as you know, we've been scrolling names that most Americans have never heard before of people that were shot and killed in Chicago since Obama became president. Nobody's lifted a finger to help anybody. It seems like they hate Trump more than they want to keep the people of Chicago safe.
The reason for the nonstop bloodshed streaming through the streets of Chicago, you saw the statistics, just over Labor Day weekend, another 54 people were shot in Chicago. 58 people, almost 60 people, just in one weekend. The reason for this is because the Democrat leaders, the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, the foolish governor of the state, Pritzker, as well as the senators of the state, Democrat leadership from top to bottom, refused to put the violent street criminals in jail. If you look at their rap sheets, what you will see is arrested and released, arrested and released, arrested and released. They are never kept in jail. So you have a small percentage of the population that are serial criminal killers, gangbangers, hoodlums, and drug dealers that are left to roam free and shoot and maim and rape and mug with impunity from the age of 14 all the way through the rest of their lives. That's the reason why. Here in Washington, D.C., where I'm talking to you from right now, in just 3 weeks, President Trump has turned the most dangerous city in America to the safest metropolis in the United States of America. And how did he do it? By surging in National Guard, by surging in FBI, ATF, DEA, and ICE, and making clear that if you commit a crime in this city, and especially if you commit a violent crime, we will find you, we will lock you up, and we won't stop coming at you until the people who live in the city are safe. President Trump did that, and now he's made this city into a safe zone for everyone, as he said.
And even Muriel Bowser, who I think was not on board in the beginning, is saying publicly she's grateful that the president did it. What is your reaction to the likes of Kimmel, Colbert, Jen Psaki, Tim Walz, et cetera?
Where do you even begin with these morons, Sean?
That's a good question. Would you like me to answer that? You want to be the host? We'll reverse roles here.
President Trump has done more press conferences, more interviews, more transparency, more public accessibility, more hours and hours with the press. He live streams his cabinet meetings for nearly 4 hours. There's no human being in the history of politics who has made themselves more available to the press and the public than President Trump, or who has demonstrated more stamina in public life. I can tell you that every single person who works for him in the White House is outworked by him. He is the first one to call us in the morning, in the early hours of the morning. He is the last one to call us far past midnight on every single work project, whether it's trade, whether it's national security, whether it's the border, whether it's crime, whether it's public safety, whether it is making our cities beautiful again, whether it is making our government responsive, whether it's improving the workforce, whether it is dealing with the need for cheaper housing. You pick the issue. He's on top of it 24/7. I also said, look, Colbert's a slime ball. The guy's just disgusting. I mean, he has no talent. He's not liked. Obviously, he was fired for a reason, but he's just a sleazy, disgusting, smarmy guy. And look, it takes a lot to make me really despise somebody, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But Colbert is really, he's a horrible person, Sean.
All right. So what did you make? I mean, you watch the pace of the president, and it's unprecedented. And they take this narrative, they run with it. Tim Walz almost kind of sort of seemingly wishing that he was dead. Then you look at the Democrats on issues. They're on the wrong side on immigration. They want open borders. They're on the wrong side of law and order. They voted for the largest tax increase in history instead of the largest tax cut in history. They voted against working men and women with no tax on tips or overtime. They voted against seniors with no tax on Social Security.
So far, this is what I voted for, man. This is what I voted for. I'm very happy with the way that these things are going under Trump. I'm very happy with the way things are going under Trump, man. Holy shit. Oh, we did this last night. This is that grandmother. She was wilding. We did that last night. That was the grandmother. Yeah, we're gonna have to save some stuff for tonight, man. We're gonna come back tonight, man. Probably 10, 11 o'clock, something like that, man. Salute to all you guys, man, that were in the building, man. We'll come back tonight, finish this up. Thank you for all you guys that supported the channel, took the $5 challenge. Salute to all you guys that hit the like button. Shout out to everybody that shared the video. Same black time, same black channel. Out of here. Subscribe.